चलो बैठो बाहर। Okay, so let's start. Hello and welcome everyone to the newspaper analysis at Plutus IAS Academy, wherein we see and learn important ideas which comes in Hindu and the Indian Express newspaper, and which can help you in your UPSC mains preparation. And today's newspapers were filled with really good ideas and articles from different subjects, from polity, from साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी फ्रॉम द सोसाइटी, राइट. सो बहुत अच्छे अच्छे आर्टिकल्स आज के न्यूज़पेपर्स में आए हैं, दोनों ही हिंदू में भी और इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में भी. वी आर गोइंग टू सी ऑल ऑफ देम एंड व्हाट आर द आइडियाज वी कैन एक्सट्रैक्ट फ्रॉम देम. आई जस्ट वांट टू मेंशन दैट you can make notes about the important points which I'm going to highlight in this article, the important ideas which I'm going to tell you, and obviously you can also contemplate on them. You can think in your own brain about the views which are coming in your mind and how you analyze those perspectives. We are also going to discuss a topic which is a bit controversial and which have different dimensions. I'm going to provide you different dimensions related to it, and you have to make your own opinion by seeing the facts which are there. Right. So without further ado, let's start today's newspaper discussion. So the first article or the couple of articles which you can see on your screen, is talking about the recent judgment by the Supreme Court in the news killing case, in which it has emphasized on the due process of law. It has evolved the substantive aspects of rights of the citizens. हमने बात किया है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट का रोल एक एक्टिव जुडिशरी का है. इट प्लेज अ रोल इन इवोल्यूशन ऑफ द राइट्स ऑफ द सिटीजंस. इफ देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स व्हिच आर अगेंस्ट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल टू प्ले इन इट, and that is what it is seen in this judgment. And we are also going to understand certain things which were highlighted by the Supreme Court in this article. What were the fault lines with the government side due to laws such as PMLA or UAPA, उनमें क्या कमियां सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने हाईलाइट किया है, and how it has evolved the Article 21 and Article 22. We're also going to see the background of it, कि कैसे due process of law, which is an important concept in our political system, how it has evolved over the years and why it is important for our constitution. Right. So let's begin. So first of all, let's understand about these laws which were brought in by the government, and what certain changes were happened in the laws such as UAPA, which is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or PML, Prevention of Money Laundering. In laws में government ने कुछ changes करे, जिसमें basically government said that because considering the security reasons of a country, especially the national security, उनकी वजह से they were accusing the person until that person was able to prove a guilty, right. मतलब अगर person अपने आप को guilty नहीं prove कर पा रहा है, so तब तक के लिए वो accused है, right. अगर वो innocent नहीं prove हुआ, basically guilty until that person is proven accused, right. So innocent, sorry, not accused, innocent. अगर कोई person अपने आप को इनोसेंट नहीं साबित कर पा रहे तब तक के लिए वो गिल्टी है, एंड ही इज गोइंग टू बी इनटू द कस्टडी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, राइट। और इसी चीज को लेके गवर्नमेंट जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट है उसने कंसर्न हाईलाइट किया, जैसा कि न्यूज़ क्लिकिंग केस में हुआ। बेसिकली न्यूज़ क्लिकिंग के जो फाउंडर हैं पुरखायस्त जी, उन्होंने क्या किया, बेसिकली गवर्नमेंट ने उनको अरेस्ट किया, citing the concerns that the person is related with some international authorities, and they're posing a concern on the international security or the national security of a country, राइट। इसकी वजह से उन्होंने ये चीज़ें बताकर उनको अरेस्ट कर लिया। दे देन आस्क दीज थिंग्स अबाउट द व्हाट वर द ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अरेस्ट, दे बिकॉज ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अरेस्ट में राइटिंग में देना पड़ता है एज पर आर्टिकल 22। तब गवर्नमेंट ने ये चीज़ देने से मना कर दिया। That was the concerning thing related to it, and that's the point which has been highlighted by the Supreme Court in this article, right? So अभी इस समय पे हम देख रहे हैं that the investigative agencies or the prosecution process in laws की वजह से they have got some extraordinary powers, जैसा कि हमने बोला कि a person is guilty until that person is proven innocent। पे आर्टिकल 22 कुछ और कहता है कि जब तक कोई पर्सन accuse नहीं किया जाता, until then that person is innocent, but इसने इस चीज़ को चेंज कर दिया, right? And citing the obviously the national security concern, so कहीं ना कहीं this thing shifts the burden on the accused, that accused has to prove that that person is innocent and not the vice versa। मतलब जो भी केस है उनके अकॉर्डिंग, जो भी गवर्नमेंट लॉ है वो बेसिकली पहले उनको accused साबित करते थे, that then the person is proven guilty, बट इसमें ये चीज़ चेंज हो गया, राइट। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये भी बोला that every person has the right to be informed under Article 22, and that should be in writing. Let's see what are the provisions which are there in Article 22. So if you read the Article 22, so it says very clearly, the first article, the first section which is there, no person who is arrested shall be detained in custody without being informed, right? As soon as may be of the ground for such arrest, nor shall be denied the right to consult and to defend it by a legal practitioner। मतलब जिसके जो भी वो ग्राउंड दिए गए हैं, that the person has this right to consult a legal practitioner। पर और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ इसमें बोला है कि सभी को इन्फॉर्म करना जरूरी, व्हाट वर द ग्राउंड्स, क्यों अरेस्ट किया गया, राइट। दैट वाज द सिग्निफिकेंट थिंग which happened after the constitution was set up, because British government without any reason or arrest, जो colonial government थी उन्होंने ये चीज़ें करते थे। That's why constitution makers had this very fundamental vision that we have to include this article। The second provision says that every person who is arrested, detained in custody shall be produced before the nearest magistrate। मतलब जो भी person को detain किया गया उसको magistrate के पास ले जाना है, that so that he can provide or his own perspective, what point that person, the person has the right to defend himself or herself, right? So this is the thing, this is Article 22, and or Supreme Court ने बोला this article has been violated in that particular case, right? Obviously, and there were other concerns which are there related to these acts, such as there was this report by NCRB, which is the government authority. It said that there has been almost 450% increase in the PMLA accusation, right? And also almost 50% increase in the UAP accusations which are happening, right? पहले ऐसा नहीं होता था, और हमने बात कर लिया कि लॉज में क्या चीजें हैं, right? Though it is also no doubt it is agreed that these laws are vital in some manner for protecting the national security. That's why Supreme Court has said that they can be important, they can be viable in some exceptional circumstances, but it shouldn't be used in every circumstance, right? So I hope your judgment is Supreme Court you can use in your mains examination if there's a question related to obviously these laws or anything related to the justice, right? Because हमें पता है कि Supreme Court has this role to evolve the nature of justice in our society, right? Obviously government का भी ये role है, हमारे constitution का भी role है, पर Supreme Court उस चीज को और expand कर सकता है through the interpretation। because Supreme Court की ऐसी power है, it can interpret the provisions of the constitution, right? So that was the significant thing. Let's move forward and see and understand the broader concept of due process of law. What is due process of law and what was the procedure established by law? So basically debate को हमें समझना है इसके अंदर। When constitution was formed, basically what happened at the time was there was this debate कि क्या हमें due process of law को डालना चाहिए अपने constitution में, right? So और पहले हम ये समझते कि होता ही क्या है ड्यू प्रोसेस लॉ एंड व्हाट इज प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय लॉ. So there was this concept which emerged after the, especially in Britain, after the Magna Carta, which was signed during 1200 and which laid the foundation of the democratic government. So उसने ये बोला that there should be procedure established by law which should be followed. ये क्या कहते हैं कि जो भी लॉज हमारी कंट्री में बनाए जा रहे हैं, इट शुड बी फॉर्मुलेटेड बाय अ लेजिटिमेट गवर्नमेंट, दैट गवर्नमेंट which is elected by a procedure, right? So procedure correct होना चाहिए. Procedure established by law talked about the correct procedure of the law, right? पर अब ये सोचने वाली बात है कि अगर प्रोसीजर करेक्ट है, डेफिनेटली हमने मान लिया प्रोसीजर करेक्ट होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई भी आर्बिट्रेरली कोई भी लॉ बना देगा, राइट? प्रोसीजर सही हो सकता है, बट व्हाट इफ द लॉज व्हिच हैज बीन प्रिपेयर्ड but the intentions of that law are not correct, not constitutional, or the outcomes which are there. अगर ऐसा कुछ हुआ, the law is not fair, the law is not just, ऐसा कोई law elected government ने बना दिया which is against a particular section of the society, which which does discrimination on certain things. So what is going to happen in that case? That's why due process of law का concept emerge होता है, right? इंडिया में ये मेनका गांधी केस में assert किया गया सुप्रीम कोर्ट के द्वारा कि हमें ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ फॉलो करें. Due process of law बोलता है that we just don't have to focus on the procedure, but at the same time the fairness of the law, right? Supreme Court, through the power of judicial review, has this power to check the fairness or the constitutional validity of the law. मतलब जो laws गवर्नमेंट बना रही है वो constitutional principles के according होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि वो allow, for example, the constitutional principles such as equality, justice, liberty, इनके according होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं गवर्नमेंट कुछ ऐसा law लाई जो कि discriminate करती है certain individuals को, right? फिर आप बोलेंगे सर जो एफर्मेटिव एक्शंस हैं या फिर जो एक डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी पॉलिसीज बनाई जाती है फॉर एलिवेशन ऑफ सर्टेन सेक्शन, वो क्यों लाया जाता है? वो क्या वो गलत नहीं है? डेफिनेटली दिस इज अ थिंग, बट आपको ये भी पता होगा कि हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एफर्मेटिव एक्शंस की बात किया जाता है दैट स्टेट कैन डिस्क्रिमिनेट फॉर द एलिवेशन ऑफ सर्टेन कास्ट, रिलीजियस माइनॉरिटीज और द जेंडर. On the basis of gender, discrimination can happen because they have been left behind on the basis of that there is social and economic or educational backwardness which was there, or उसके लिए law government can formulate laws, right? This is the argument which, so I hope आपको due process of law समझ में आएगा, which talks about not only the following the correct procedure but also the fairness of the law. Law should be constitutionally valid, and who is going to check that thing? Supreme Court or judiciary has this power, right? That's the thing. कहीं ना कहीं ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ जो है, इट ऑल्सो शोज द मैच्योरिटी ऑफ अ सिविलाइजेशन, दैट कोई भी लॉ आर्बिट्रेरली नहीं बनेगा. कोई भी लॉ जो है वो किसी भी हैपहज़ार्ड मैनर में नहीं बनाया जाएगा, बट देयर इज जो लॉ है, देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ सिस्टम ऑफ चेक्स एंड बैलेंस, राइट? चेक्स एंड बैलेंस का जो डॉक्ट्रिन है हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, which is a very important part, कहीं ना कहीं ये चीज़ उसको भी स्ट्रेंथन करते हैं, राइट? Listen, I hope आपको चीज समझ में आया होगा. It also strengthens and bolsters the substantive aspects of the rights of the citizen. कहीं ना कहीं सिर्फ प्रोसीजर एस्पेक्ट्स पे फोकस नहीं करते, बट उनका आउटकम क्या होगा, उनका जो मीनिंग है वो ट्रूली मतलब हमारी सोसाइटी में इम्प्लीमेंट हो पाएगा या नहीं. That's why it kind of improvise the substantive aspect of the law, right? So this is the, I hope आपको समझ में आया होगा. And again we have seen Supreme Court ने एक और चीज इस आर्टिकल इस केस में बोला that if grounds of arrest is not communicated, that it is directly against the life and liberty of an individual, and hence it is the violation of Article 21, which is a constitutional fundamental right, right? So कहीं ना कहीं इस चीज को सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने असर्ट किया, which definitely you can use in your answers, right? which is a very significant thing. फिर आपको पता होगा कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास has this power to evolve the nature of fundamental right, and that is what it has done in this article. कि मगर basically detention के ground अगर नहीं communicate किए जाते हैं accused को, so basically it's directly against the life and liberty of the person, right? अब जरा एक और चीज को समझना जरूरी है कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में स्टार्टिंग में जो ये ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ का जो कंसेप्ट है ये क्यों नहीं डाला गया. सो अगर हम इसके बारे में पढ़ेंगे, जो कि आर्टिकल में बहुत अच्छे से मेंशन किया फैजान मुस्तफा जी ने, उन्होंने बताया दैट why it was dropped. Basically there was this debate related to incorporating this provision, but the thing was there were certain things because of which this was not incorporated. उसका रीजन ये था कि there was this advisor of the Constitution Committee, B.N. Rao. उन्होंने बोला कि on stating the grounds that this is going to disrupt the legislative process, कहीं कि जुडिशरी में ज़्यादा पावर आ जाएगी, राइट? और जो लेजिस्लेचर है जो कि चुना जा रहा है लोगों के द्वारा, कहीं ना कहीं उनकी पावर में हमें कमी देखने को मिलेगा बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉ, right? And that's why it was dropped. Many of the many of the people at in the constitution, they were in support of this concept. Basically, the Bhima Ambedkar ji, they were also supporting this argument. बट कहीं ना कहीं इसको ड्रॉप किया गया एंड अगेन इट वाज इंसर्टेड इन दी मेनका गांधी जजमेंट. इवन डॉक्टर बी आर अम्बेडकर ने ये भी बोला था दैट जो आर्टिकल 22 हमने डाला है विच टॉक्स अबाउट दी राइट्स अगेंस्ट दी अरेस्ट एंड डिटेंशन, दैट इज गोइंग टू कंपनसेट ऑफ दी ड्यू प्रोसेस लॉ. बट हम देखते हैं कि एक एक गोपालन केस हुआ था जिसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैव गिवन अ हायर डोमिनेंस टू दी प्रोसीजर स्टैब्लिश्ड लॉ एंड नॉट द ड्यू प्रोसेस लॉ. बट उस जजमेंट को चेंज किया गया इन दी मेनका गांधी जजमेंट, जिसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला दैट ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ should be followed and it is going to be a fundamental concept in our polity. Right. So I hope आपको ये चीज समझ में आया होगा how judiciary plays an important role in evolution of the constitutional provision, how it expands the rights of the citizen and it becomes a protection or protector of the fundamental rights. All right. With that, let's move forward and see the next step. So this is also an interesting article which is giving a different dimension towards the rising problem of hypertension in our country, which is often being ignored, right? आपको पता होगा आजकल के समय में वी आर लिविंग इन अ materialistic world where we are engaged into various social media platform, and when we see our peers and the people who are doing good, it kind of generate a bit of tension and all those things. So कहीं ना ये कुछ factors हैं. इसके अलावा there are multiple factors which are there related to the hypertension problem. बट ये एक ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है जो राइटर पॉइंट आउट करते हैं दैट इट इज ऑफन बीन इग्नोर्ड. पीपल आर नॉट अवेयर अबाउट दिस प्रॉब्लम. सब बोला गया कि ऑलमोस्ट 46% ग्लोबली हु आर फेसिंग दिस प्रॉब्लम, दे आर अनअवेयर ऑफ दिस और अनडायग्नोस्ड, राइट? सो दैट इज द कंसर्न थिंग एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी सी दैट there is a rise in the problems such as heart attack, the problems of cardiovascular disease, the problems of hypertension. So this is the thing, and writer ने कुछ बहुत अच्छे argument दिए what things or what strategies government ने लिए हैं and the things which we can follow in order to solve this problem. So we are going to see that thing as well, right? Let's move forward and see this. So basically Hooker report and basically World Health Organization in 2023 that this hypertension problem is a silent killer. As I mentioned, that why? Because people are not aware about this, right? There is unawareness related to this problem. That's why it is a silent killer. और कितना इसका severity है? Almost we see 10.8 million deaths every year, right? And जैसे कि हमने बोला कि 46% जो लोग इससे पीड़ित हैं वो उनको पता ही नहीं होता कि उनके अंदर की ये बीमारी भी है. They are facing the problem of hypertension. And अगर हम ICMR study की बात करें, so ICMR study हुई Indian Council of Medical, it said कि इंडिया में almost 311 million people हैं. They face this problem. It's almost 30% of our 30 or around 20%, 25%. Basically, इतने लोग face कर रहे हैं this problem of hypertension, right? So we are going to understand what are the reasons of rising hypertension. तो जैसा कि मैंने बोला, this materialistic world forces people or creates a kind of pressure of performance that we have to have material wealth as per the other people who are in our surrounding. That's one of the aspects. Apart from that, there are certain dietary patterns which are also changing, which leads to rising this hypertension, such as increase in salt intake. Salt intake also increases the blood pressure of the body, and hence it also increases the hypertension. This is certainly a thing. At the same time, the trans fats which we are consuming more and more in things like the junk foods which we eat, such as French fries or burgers or fried items which are there. This also leads to the rise in the blood pressure of a person. At the same time, it also increases the cholesterol. Right, cholesterol is a substance, is a kind of fat which is there in our body, and we consume it from outside. There are two kinds of cholesterol. Which are there. One is good cholesterol, and another one is bad cholesterol. So bad cholesterol is there in the trans fats, right? जो कि हमारी body के लिए अच्छे नहीं होते, and it increases the cholesterol levels in the body, और वो कहीं ना कहीं जो हमारे veins हैं और arteries हैं उनको block कर सकते हैं. That's why we see there is a rising problem of cardiovascular. हम heart attacks की problem आजकल के समय पे सुनते हैं. That is one of the thing. Writer ने ये भी बात बताया कि the recent times we are seeing a link between the cardiovascular disease and the COVID vaccines which were there. ऐसा कई बार हम देखते हैं कि COVID वैक्सीन की वजह से कार्डियोवैस्कुलर डिसीजेस बढ़ने देखने को मिला, राइट। सो दैट इज ऑल्सो बेसिकली ये सिर्फ उसकी वजह से ही नहीं है, बट द कोमॉर्बिडिटीज विच आर देयर, फॉर एग्जांपल द शुगर लेवल्स और द हाई कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल्स, राइट, उन वजहों से भी ज़्यादा हमें हार्ट डिसीज या फिर हार्ट से रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम देखने को मिलता है, राइट। ऑलराइट, आई होप आपको ये चीज़ समझ में आया होगा। And one more thing which has been highlighted in this article, that ये जो problem है, there was this NGO in Delhi which studied almost 1500 individuals who were facing this problem, और ये पाया गया कि जो low income groups हैं उनके अंदर ये ज़्यादा देखने को मिलता है। So कहीं ना कहीं socio-economic conditions are also a factor which leads to this problem, right? जो low income groups हैं उनमें ये चीज़ ज़्यादा देखा गया, people like vendors और रिक्शा पुलर्स, उन सभी लोगों के अंदर ये ज़्यादा देखने को मिला। So this shows कि certain section of society are more vulnerable of this problem, right? जैसे और एक चीज़ और इसमें इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि जब ये हाइपरटेंशन का प्रॉब्लम होता है, it not only affects the heart, but it has an effect on the entire system. It affects various organs such as kidneys, such as liver, right, arteries and veins, right, because the entire system is interconnected. और अगर हमारी बॉडी में ब्लड फ्लो अच्छे से नहीं होता तो ये पूरी ही बॉडी को अफेक्ट करता है, and which is that's why we're seeing the rising number of deaths which are happening, right? So seeing that, now let's see some more important things, right? And ये बात talk about is that we have to cut the salt. This is one of the solution. So what things can be followed in order to solve this problem? The first and foremost thing उन्होंने बोला that we have to cut the salt intake in our society. इंडिया में ये देखा जाता है that salt is a very integral part of our dietary habits, and it has become a thing which if that is not there, then people don't like to eat much, right? Salt का कहीं ना कहीं टेस्ट हम सभी को बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है, एंड इसीलिए हम देखते हैं कि WHO की रिपोर्ट ने बताया that इंडिया में हम ट्वाइस हमारा इंटेक है, almost twice the intake of salt as recommended by the WHO. Basically 5 to 6 ग्राम वो रिकमेंड करते हैं, पर इंडिया में हम देखते हैं 10 to 12 ग्राम is being consumed on the average basis, right? And that's why the rising cases are visible. So in this context, government launched an initiative, the initiative of Indian Hypertension Control Initiative, IHCI. This initiative में government formulated policies in which there were several things which were followed, such as providing the drugs to reduce this problem, spreading awareness among citizens, strengthening the primary health care, so that जो लोग हैं वो अपने जो बेसिकली लोकेलिटीज़ हैं वहाँ पे जाके इस चीज़ को डायग्नोसिस कर सकें, एंड इट हैज़ रियली इम्प्रूव द सिचुएशन इन आवर कंट्री. दैट्स व्हाई इट ऑल्सो अवॉर्डेड फॉर द स्टेप्स which it has taken, right? So this was one of the steps which can be followed, as was mentioned in this article. The biggest thing is we have to raise the awareness, right? So हमने देखा कि health is an important issue in our country. A lot of problems related to it, and people are less aware about the problems related to health, right? And this is also being visible by the dietary patterns which are changing. कहीं ना कहीं जिस तरीके का हम जो खाना खा रहे हैं उसमें कहीं ना कहीं प्रॉब्लम देखने को मिलता है, and people are less aware that we have to write food. लोगों को ये चीज़ कम पता है that जो हम खाना खाते हैं it's not for the taste but it is for the healthy functioning of the body, right? इसकी वजह से देखते हैं कि various kinds of problems are emerging. So spreading awareness, raising the awareness through education, through campaigns, can be an important step to solve this problem. At the same time, writer ने ये point out किया that there should be evidence-based public health intervention should happen. For example, IHCI, we have already IHCI, जो initiative launch किया गया, which spreaded the awareness, which strengthen the drug delivery system. ये कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ज़्यादा effective हो सकते हैं in solving this problem, right? और कहीं ना कहीं इस idea को, the evidence-based public health intervention, you can use in your answer. It can be used in multiple diseases which we face, right, such as tuberculosis or malaria. इन सभी को उसमें ये use हो सकता है. That first of all we need to collect the data, what is the severity of the condition, and उसके बाद we have to intervene accordingly, right? That is what evidence-based public health intervention signifies. At the same time, एक चीज़ के बारे में और important इसमें highlight किया गया, there are certain known modifiable risk factors, right? So आपको पता होगा there are certain modifiable risk factors related to this disease, such as we are already seeing a consuming of the trans fats or the high tension which is emerging in the present society. वो तो problem है, but there are certain other factors which are non-modifiable, such as the genetic factors. right? Genetic factors are there. So इन तरह की चीज़ों को कहीं ना कहीं ये चीज़ें लोग इनहेरिट भी करते हैं, कुछ लोगों के अंदर आपको सबको पता है कि जीन्स के डिफर करने की वजह से there are certain different things which are there, and also it is also related to the immune system of the person, right? इसको बंद कर देना अच्छे से, ठीक है? Alright, so दिस इज द थिंग। तो उन चीज़ों पे फोकस करने की भी ज़रूरत है, हाउ वी कैन इम्प्रूव दोज थिंग। फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमने लास्ट कुछ डिस्कशन में ये बात किया था, हाउ ए आई कैन बी यूज टू इफेक्टिवली स्टडी द जेनेटिक्स ऑफ द पर्सन, राइट? इट कैन प्रेडिक्ट द अल्फा फोल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी विच हैज़ इमर्ज that can predict the protein unfolding, and that way we can enhance the drug delivery mechanism, right, by studying that thing. So those things can definitely be implemented. At the same time, we already know we have to reduce the dietary salt which is being consumed by the people, and by obviously spreading awareness by regulation is an important thing. Government has to enforce the regulatory environment more robustly, and they can also be provisions such as labeling. We can label the food which have high salt content, so that it can aware the people that they what thing they are consuming is not good for their health, right? This is the thing. At the same time, we have to follow a multi-sectoral approach, right? हमने बात किया कि hypertension सिर्फ किसी एक वजह से नहीं होता, but there are different things which are responsible for this problem. So we have to follow approach. We have to work on reducing the pressure, the tension which are there, so that we have to create an atmosphere where there will be less tension. We have to make people more aware that how to cope up with the pressures which emerge in the present materialistic world. And we have seen the reducing the salt content is one of the approach. So we have to follow a multi-sectoral approach. We have to see the different dimensions which are there, which are responsible for this problem, and then we have to come with the person. I hope आपको ये चीज़ भी समझ में आया होगा. And we can also follow certain things such as regular BP checkups, right? अगर diagnosis पहले हो जाता है तो ये चीज़ें कहीं ना कहीं टैकल की जा सकती है through using the drugs or the medications which are required. So ये सब चीज़ें भी कहीं ना कहीं बहुत effective हो सकते हैं if we are able to implement them, right? So this is the thing, and spreading awareness is obviously we have already talked about. I hope आपको ये article भी समझ में आया होगा. These points, these ideas which were mentioned, you can use here in your main answer, not only in this related to this problem, but in different problems which comes related to health, right? All right, let's move forward to the next article and see what were the highlights which were there. ओके, ये जो जस्ट वन सेकेंड, ओ सॉरी, आई थिंक ये गलत इमेज आ गया है. बेसिकली जो नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल है that was related to the debate related to the caste census which was there in the Hindu article. And आपको पता होगा कि Friday on Friday there is a debate which comes. So जो debate आया था आज के न्यूज़पेपर में, it was related to the caste census, whether caste census is viable to implement, or what were the fault lines in the caste census. So before beginning this discussion and the important points which were highlighted, I just want to mention a very important point, that हमें पता है कि Indian society is very diverse society. People can have different perspectives, but the thing is, we should understand, we should have a kind of tolerant attitude towards the different perspectives. So जब मैं इसके बारे में बात करूँगा, I know people are from different perspectives or different experiences you garner through your socialization. So आपका कुछ अलग perspective हो सकता है. The thing is, आपको ये चीज़ सीखना है कि हमें दूसरे perspective को भी जानना चाहिए, दूसरे perspective को समझना चाहिए, and that is going to synthesize your information which is there. Definitely you may not agree with the thing, but you should listen to it. वोल्टेयर एक बहुत बड़े फिलोसफर थे यूरोप में, जिन्होंने बोला that I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend till my death your right to say it. मतलब जो हमारी सोसाइटी में एक ओपन टॉक का इन्वायरमेंट होना चाहिए. Every person should have this right to express them, and that is what is happened in this debate. One writer is pointing a different argument, and another scholar who is there is providing a different argument related to the consensus, right? So आपको कहीं ना कहीं दोनों ही पर्सपेक्टिव जानने को मिले. So जो पहला जो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया, that why there is a talk of the caste, हम देखते हैं कि आज के समय में the opposition party is talking about this debate, that there should be benefits which are there, it should be based on the proportion, जितनी आबादी है उतना हक होना चाहिए. So क्या ये जो debate है, it is viable or not? So first of all, basically हम देखते हैं क्या क्या आर्ग्यूमेंट्स भी दिए. फर्स्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट which has been given that Indian society is a diverse society, right? And we have also seen that there were certain social evils which were prevalent during the before the during the Corinthian and maybe before the medieval ages. So उनकी वजह से there were certain sections of society which were left behind, right? The discrimination which has happened, which restricted some certain section to go into the education or to reap the benefits of the education, that has restricted them, and that has resulted into social economic deprivation, जिसकी वजह से हमने अफर्मेटिव एक्शंस का ये चीज रखा. So writer ये बोल रहे हैं that it is going to be viable if we are able to analyze that what was the result or outcome of the reservation policy which we have implemented since India independent, and that's why caste census could be a viable option, right? अब second argument को समझते हैं. The second scholar which was being interviewed, उन्होंने क्या argument दिया? Basically पहले तो वही बोलते हैं it is going to be unconstitutional, right? Because हमारे constitution में equality के बारे में बोला गया है. Constitution talks about every citizen is going to be equal, right? दो हमने बात की कि affirmative actions होते हैं, but still if we are going to give the benefit on the basis of proportion of the population, then it's going to be against the constitutional principles of equality, right? पहला चीज तो ये. At the same time it is also unimplementable, मतलब इसको implement करना बहुत मुश्किल है. This can create a lot of chaos. This can create a kind of prejudice among the citizens that certain sections of society, because of the population, they're getting more benefits, right? The same time we also see an emerging thing in the present times. हम ये देखते हैं कि कुछ कास्ट में जो रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया, there are certain caste, there very minority of caste who have reaped the benefits more than the other caste, और जो 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 actually poor लोग हैं वो उस benefit को ले ही नहीं पा रहे हैं. That's why there is a talk of implementing the creamy layer in the for the scheduled caste, right? हम अंदर बैकवर्ड कास्ट में ऑलरेडी क्रीमी लेयर का कंसेप्ट देखते हैं. तो इसलिए राइटर बोलने की कहीं ना कहीं अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हो सकता है एंड इट कैन बी अनइम्प्लीमेंटेबल. इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है, राइट? एंड देन अगेन सी द आर्गुमेंट इन द फेवर. So कहीं ना कहीं राइटर ने ये चीज बोला that it is going to be it is going to strengthen the argument of justice or the concept of justice which is being enshrined in the constitution. हमारा constitution justice establish करने के बारे में बोलता है for both the government and the different organs of the government, that we have to ensure socio-economic and political justice. And though we have implemented the affirmative actions, but still we see that there has been many data that कुछ sections of society की जो है उनका representation अभी भी कम मिलता है हमें in terms of education, in terms of the private sector employment which is there, right? So कहीं ना कहीं जो justice हम establish करना चाहते हैं वो अभी भी नहीं हुआ है. There is a socio-economic deprivation which is prevalent, right? So this is the thing. So कहीं ना कहीं अगर हम इस चीज को implement करते हैं caste census, we are going to understand that what is the scenario, what is the problem that the lower caste people are facing, or the people who were being marginalized, right? And that can definitely help us to alleviate the people who are in bottom of the pyramid, right? This is the argument which has been given. And the argument which has been given in against, उन्होंने ये बात बोला that ये जो argument है providing benefit on the basis of the proportion of the population is going to be against the constitutional provision of justice. कैसे? Basically हमें इस तरीके से implement करना चाहिए policies को, हमें इस तरीके से frame करना चाहिए so that it can alleviate the socio-economic status of all the people, not only certain sections of society. So policies ऐसे frame करना चाहिए जो कि सब जो especially में weaker sections हैं जो कि disadvantaged position पर हैं despite their caste or other factors, उनके लिए policies frame करना चाहिए. We should empower people with education, with better health, and that way we can definitely improve the status, right? इसके लिए हमें caste census करने की जरूरत नहीं है, but we can focus on the socio-economic status of the people, right? So this is the thing. I hope आपको ये चीज भी समझ में आया होगा. Again the argument in the favor. Obviously the writer बात करते जो कि मैंने argument आपको पहले ही बता दिया that if we analyze the economic, education, social standing of this group, हमें कहीं ना कहीं caste census के through ये चीज ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. We could have get better data related to it, and then we can accordingly implement the policy that is going to make the system more transparent. अभी हम जो affirmative actions implement करते हैं उसमें इतना transparency नहीं है, हमारे पास इतना data नहीं है to implement that thing. So कहीं ना कहीं अगर caste census के through हम data generate कर पाते हैं, right? Basically हर एक caste के बारे में पता चलेगा कि उनका क्या status है, basically how the kind of representation in their in education field, in economic field, also politics में कितना उनका participation हमें देखने को मिलता है, वो सब चीज़ें हमें जानने को मिलेगा, and again we can better implement the policy. This is the thing, right? So this is the thing. अब last argument ये था कि what can be the fair share, मतलब किस हिसाब से हमें देना चाहिए, right? कितना क्या हम ऐसा करें कि जितनी population है उस हिसाब से हम जो benefits हैं या फिर reservation हमें देना चाहिए in the education institution or the private job, right? uh, Alright, so writer कहीं ना कहीं ये बात बोलते हैं that this is going to be a bad thing for our society, because as we have mentioned, this is going to create social chaos. It is going to create a disruption in the society. It is going to polarize people more as per the because of this provision. हम कई बार ये चीज़ देखते भी हैं, इसकी वजह से बहुत सारे we see conflicts which happen in our society, or especially in the social media. If you read the comment section related to the videos which are made on this topic, when I'm thinking there is a kind of different perspectives leading to the conflicts related to it, right? So this was the thing which was highlighted in this article, and I hope आपको ये चीज़ें समझ में आया होगा, the arguments which were given, and you can have different perspective, you may have your own opinions, but you should understand the other side of the picture, right? That can definitely strengthen and also improve your knowledge base, right? So I hope आपको ये तीनों ही articles समझ में आए होंगे. They were really important for your UPSC examination, and you can obviously use these ideas for your UPSC mains answer writing, right? So with that, we have reached to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, you can definitely give it a thumbs up, and we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you so much.